For thousands of years, explorers have crossed burning deserts and scaled dangerous mountains, searching for one of the most important places in the Bible, the mountain where God came down to meet Moses. This mountain, Mount Sinai, is where Moses got the laws that changed Israel forever. But here's what's going to blow your mind. What if we've been looking in the wrong place this entire time? What if the real Mount Sinai has been right there all along, but someone's been covering it up? Hidden by old traditions, politics, and centuries of misdirection. And what if I told you that mountain is still there today? Its peaks still black from God's fire, the ground around it covered with ancient altars and evidence nobody has disturbed for thousands of years. You're about to go on a journey that will change everything you thought you knew. But first, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like right now. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss our latest discoveries. We're actually standing on what we believe is the real Mount Sinai right now. Look at this rock from the summit. See how it's completely black on the outside? But when I break off a piece, look at that. Inside, it's totally different, kind of pink actually. The outside is burned black, but the inside shows the rock's natural color. We're taking samples like this back to our lab in Tennessee. Because if this really is Mount Sinai, this black coating should tell us a story that's been waiting thousands of years to be heard. I'm convinced that this exact spot is where the Israelites built their golden calf while Moses was up on the mountain getting the 10 Commandments from God. This could be ground zero for one of the most famous stories in the Bible. For thousands of years, everyone's been told that Mount Sinai is this peak called Jebel Musa in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Tourists go there all the time. It's on every map. Tour guides make their living taking people there. But here's the thing nobody talks about. The Bible itself doesn't actually point to that location. Not even close. Look at what actually happened. Moses ran away from Egypt and ended up in a place called Midian. That's where he married his wife Zipporah and started working for his father-in-law Jethro as a shepherd. And it was right there in Midian where he saw the burning bush on a mountain called Horeb, another name for Mount Sinai. Exodus 3 verse 1 tells us exactly where. Moses was taking care of Jethro's sheep in Midian. Moses led the sheep to the far side of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. So here's the million-dollar question. Where is Midian? It's not in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Ancient historians, Bible scholars, and modern researchers all agree, Midian was located in what we now call Saudi Arabia, in the northwest region. That's right, the Bible itself points to a location outside of Egypt, across the Red Sea, in Arabia. Deep in the Saudi Arabian desert, there's this mountain called Jebel al-Lawz, meaning Mountain of Almonds. Everything about this place matches up almost perfectly with what the Bible describes about Mount Sinai. At the very top of this mountain, you can see something incredible even from space. The peak looks burned and blackened, completely different from the lighter-colored rocks everywhere else. Here's what's wild. This mountain isn't volcanic. These dark stones weren't burned from the inside out like lava. They were scorched from the outside, like something incredibly hot came down from above. If this evidence is blowing your mind like it did mine, hit that like button to let me know you want to see more discoveries like this. Compare this to Exodus 19 verse 18. Mount Sinai was completely covered in smoke because the Lord came down on it in fire. The smoke went up like smoke from a furnace, and the whole mountain shook violently. It's almost too perfect to be a coincidence. At the bottom of Jebel al-Lawz, there's this massive flat area that could easily hold millions of people, just like the Bible describes. This would be exactly where the Israelites camped while Moses climbed the mountain. Exodus 19 verse 2. So Israel camped there in front of the mountain. All around this area, you can see what look like ancient stone boundary markers, the exact limits that God told Moses to set up to warn people not to get too close to the holy mountain. But here's where it gets really wild. Near the base, there's this large stone structure that many believe is the actual altar of the golden calf. Remember that story from Exodus 32? While Moses was up on the mountain, the Israelites got impatient and built a golden idol to worship. This altar is covered with carvings of bulls and calves cut right into the stone. The style doesn't match anything local Arabian people would have made. Instead, it looks exactly like Egyptian-style worship. These carvings suggest that people from somewhere else, not locals, once created a bull-worshipping site right here. Just a short walk from the mountain, you'll find one of the most jaw-dropping sites in the entire region. There's this massive rock several stories high, split completely down the middle. Clean split. But here's what really gets me. Under this rock, the ground is covered with signs of water erosion. We're in one of the driest places on Earth. This lines up perfectly with Exodus 17 verse 6, where God tells Moses, "Hit the rock, and water will come out of it for the people to drink." The size of this rock is incredible. It looks like it was cracked open by divine force. If Mount Sinai really is in Arabia, then we need to rethink the Red Sea crossing. Researchers now believe the Israelites didn't cross some shallow reedy area in northern Egypt. Instead, they crossed the Gulf of Aqaba. At Nuweiba Beach, the underwater terrain forms a natural land bridge, a gentle slope that goes down into the water and comes back up on the other side, leading directly toward Jebel al-Lawz. Exodus 14 verse 22 describes exactly this. The Israelites went through the middle of the sea on dry ground, with walls of water on their right and their left. Some divers claim they found coral formations down there that look exactly like wheels, possibly evidence of Pharaoh's chariots, buried under thousands of years of sea life. Here's where things get suspicious. Today, this mountain is completely guarded and fenced off by the Saudi government. Warning signs everywhere tell people to stay away. Local guides aren't allowed to take tourists there. Many people who've tried to document this area have been arrested or kicked out of the country. Why? What could be so sensitive that they have to keep it completely hidden? Some think the Saudi authorities know exactly what they're sitting on, possibly one of the greatest archaeological and religious discoveries in human history. If Jebel al-Lawz is confirmed as the real Mount Sinai, it would prove that one of the most important events in Scripture actually happened. It would show that the Exodus wasn't just a story, it was real history. For generations, skeptics have dismissed the Exodus as a fairy tale. But discoveries like this burned mountain peak, the rock carvings, the split rock, and ancient altars are forcing people to take a serious second look. We're literally watching the Bible come to life, not just in words on a page, but in actual rocks, real mountains, and paths you can walk on today. And if this is changing the way you see the Bible like it changed mine, please hit that like button. Your support helps us bring these amazing discoveries to light. Right now, somewhere in the Saudi desert, behind barbed wire and military guards, this mountain is still standing. It still carries the marks of God's fire. At its base, you can still see the history of rebellion, promises, mercy, and wonder. This is the place where God's voice once shook the earth. And maybe it's time the world started listening again. If this incredible journey has opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button and like this video right now. Make sure to ring that notification bell so you're the first to know when we uncover more biblical mysteries. Because this is just the beginning. The truth is literally rising from the desert sand, and you don't want to miss what we uncover next.